Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Look who we've got in the house. We've got Perchy, who this week made his long-awaited return to YouTube. It's like when a player's been out injured for 12 months with ligament damage, but they come back. Are you bigger? Are you better? Are you fitter?
Listen,
Are you raring to go?
I'm back. I've come back from my ACL injury that's took me out for 10 months. I've somehow managed to lose my glasses in that 10 months.
Good.
And yeah, no, things are good. Things are good.
Excellent. Now, listen, everybody. Perchy is back. He's going to be doing a lot of content for you guys. So, look, let's do what we always do on this channel. Let's try and pre-o. That was very, very nearly a word. Let's try and promote each other. Let's help out. Here is the link. I'm going to pop it in the chat. This is the link to Perchy's channel. He's rebranded it and just called it Perchy, which I love. It's not narcissistic at all. I love it. It's such a great idea. And there is the link. Please go over, smash subscribe to Perchy. I've pinned it now as well. So please do subscribe to that. Perchy, what are you planning on doing with the channel? Now it's back. What can people expect?
Look, I've brought it back in the contents of I don't want to. Do you know what? I've come back in the theory of I just want to do what I want to do. Like, I don't care if I get 50 viewers, 100 viewers. It's kind of just enjoy what I want to do.
Yeah.
People saw I've moved to Streamlabs over StreamYard, which is going to give me such creativity now. So I can start doing Football Manager streams and doing 3-hour streams. I've put up, if anyone wants to go onto my community page, I've the 4 teams that people picked for me to do on it. I've done a vote, so go over there and vote on there, and then that team I'll be, and we just have a bit of fun. I'm here for a bit of a laugh, and it's not serious anymore.
Yeah, I saw some people were suggesting you should be Espanyol, and someone said be Wolves. Someone said you've got to be Spurs. But can you imagine? You've got to watch Spurs in the week, and we'll get to Spurs, and then you've got to manage them in your Football Manager game as well. What an overload of Tottenham.
I mean, people might want me as manager when I start winning them trophies. Just saying.
Yeah, but listen, you're not Ange, so you're not going to have this loyal following that he's got, I'm afraid. Look, let's get into it then, Perchy. Obviously, I know your opinions inside out. We talk every day on WhatsApp. Yeah. But for people that haven't seen you for a while, big up to everyone in the chat. Please do smash the like button. A nice little Friday lunchtime stream. Why not? And then I'm live tonight at 8 p.m. for more of a panel show where we all descend into utter chaos, madness, and debates. And then for others, just to call it an echo chamber. Perchy, what are your overall feelings about the club at the moment, the manager, the performances, the style of play? What do you make of it all at the moment?
Well, before I answer that, I'll get rid of that for a second because it feels like my camera, it's ruining my whole thing. So this is my, I've had to shut the curtains because it's so bright. Look, my thoughts on the club. If we start with just the club, I think the club at the moment, Nige, what a guy. No, I think, look, if we talk about just the club, let's start with the club. I think the club have marketed it brilliantly. It sounds incredible. We're a football club, right? Everything that this club is doing now, and you know what I've said. I've said it. I've said this. This isn't an opinion I've had for 5 months, 3 months, whatever. I've been saying this for years. This club are building into something that we're not. And we can talk about being the football club and all this lot, and we can all talk about Daniel Levy every 5 minutes. It's kind of that boat for me is sailed. That's why I don't even sit there and scream Levy Enoch out. It doesn't make any difference. I hear everyone saying, "Oh, we need new owners. We need this." It actually, do you know what we need? And I say this. We don't need new owners. We need a new philosophy and a new mentality at this football club. Like when the Man City owners went in, their mentality was, we're going to be a dominant force in England and in Europe. That was their mentality. No matter whatever means, whether we agree with the charges or we disagree with them, their attitude was, we will make Manchester City the best football club in the world. We don't, whether or not we get new owners or not, and I don't want it to start on that end on
but go for it.
Whether or not we get new owners or not, the mentality at Tottenham Hotspur is about making money. We could get brand new people. Everyone hears, I hear about Amanda Staveley and all what's happening there, but actually, what with the Amanda Staveley thing, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, because she will bring in people that want to make money, whether or not it's people from the Middle East, whether it's people to come from America, whether it's people that come from Australia, doesn't matter. The club is built to make money. And unless that attitude at the club is changed, making money is great, but we have nothing to show for it.
No, absolutely. I mean, again, and as football fans, do we really care what the P&L says? Look, to a degree, yes. To a degree, we know that the club needs to be healthy to be able to thrive. The problem is the club is very healthy. It never thrives. And that's the problem, right? It's almost like a lot of our fan base, we sort of sit around as though we're board members at Google having a look at the latest, P&L spreadsheet for the year and seeing, what's going on. But, okay, look, you've talked about the owners there, but what's your... and again, I know this. This is why I'm smiling. I know this. Ange Postecoglou, for you, Perchy, he's got a very loyal following. For me, for a guy that's not done well, he's got a very loyal following. Lots of people are talking about this guy as when it works, when it clicks, when it all molds together. Somebody said to me yesterday, "Will be unstoppable." I mean, what's your feelings of Ange and his performance in the first 18 months?
Oh, look, I say this all the time. Ange is a manager that has lived off. He's the longest manager to live off 10 football matches I've ever seen, because all I hear about is, well, look how good it started. Great. That's all good. We dipped off and went absolutely nowhere after that and started losing games. Our away form it's beyond diabolical. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think this sort of mentality, and look, I get it, right? I understand why people love Ange. I get it. The problem is Ange is very good at rallying people. He's very good at rallying people because he says really, really good things. So, and the thing is what I'm finding such hypocrisy when I come with it, because Ange will say some really nice things, but say some things that I go, well, hang on a minute, it doesn't make sense. But then you believe that part, but not that part. And it's like for me, I'm in this camp, and if people want to know if I'm Ange in Ange, I'm Ange. I don't care. As I said, if he's sacked tomorrow, I couldn't care less. If he's still at the football club, I couldn't care less. I don't have the attachment to this manager like I've had with previous managers. For me, I think this manager will be here, and whether or not people love this manager or hate this manager, it's actually irrelevant, because the manager will be sacked based on performance. And at the moment, his performances haven't been good enough. We will have lost 6 games if we lose to Man City tomorrow. And for me, that's a worse record than Nuno. I hear all this nonsense, and I'm gonna play it, and I've asked Ben Kaufman, because he loves making stuff. I want him to create me a Nuno card, because every time I hear give this manager time, I will play my Nuno card and say, did you give Nuno time? If you didn't, then there's no you then can't use that card.
Nuno card.
I'll play my Nuno card.
Is this like in Monopoly when you've got your get out of jail free card?
It's my card.
Like,
whenever
why would you sack him? What about Nuno?
It is. It'll be, because all I hear is every second from people, and I hear it from a lot of people. And look, people are allowed their opinions. You should give at least a manager 2 years. But you wanted Nuno out after 10 games of football. So you can't have it. I've always said you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it.
No, absolutely. And I think the difficult thing for me, first of all, the difficulty I'm struggling with is the fact that we've got 30 likes and 145 people in here and growing. I mean, that's really poor. Second of all, if you haven't subscribed to Perchy, why not? The link is pinned. The link is pinned in the chat. Mods, if you would be so kind, every 5 minutes or so, please whack Perchy's link.
Big up to the 2 people that did subscribe. Thank you.
Well, listen, if we can't help each other out, what's the point? What are we doing here? So let's do that. Yeah, look, I think the difficult thing for me, Perchy, is like you just said there. I feel like this guy is living off of a new manager bounce more than any manager I've ever seen in the history of football. And when you point out these facts, it's, but they're your facts, Savva. They're not my facts, Perchy. They're club facts. Yeah, I took the time to go out and actually put it together, but they're not my facts. And Tottenham Hotspur, for me, I wonder, and I'll ask you this question. Let's think of a manager that people didn't want when at that time when we were looking. So Brendan Rodgers, his name was banned. No, oh my God, no, we don't want what Brendan Rodgers. Look what's happened at Leicester. Right. So let's say we had taken Brendan Rodgers, Perchy.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers was in Tottenham Hotspur right now and had this very same identical record that Ange's got. Would we be sitting here going, give him time, it will come good? Or would we all be going, this is why we didn't want Brendan Rodgers?
But this is the thing for me. This isn't for me, this whole thing with the whole Ange thing, and big up to KM1804. I did giggle. Perchy looks like Gundogan. I like that one. That's
that. Perchy looks like Gundogan.
Look at Perchy lad looking like Gundogan. So you're an Arsenal fan, and now I'm a Man City player. That's how it works, right? I like it. I like that one.
I wish you was playing in midfield tomorrow then, if you're Gundogan.
Hey.
And big up to Ash. Big up, Ash. Big up.
Look, I think this is past who this manager. This manager could have managed like Stockport County last, and for me, I think this is people. I think we've got a lot of fans that like this guy, and I think actually the problem what we've got actually, and I've said this in our group chat that we're all in and stuff, and I've said this before. I think the problem what we're at now is we've got fans that don't want this manager. That's fine. You got fans a portion that don't like this manager, but you've got a big portion in this fan base now that don't really rate this manager, but just don't want to sack a manager. Like they don't want to go through the rigmarole of getting a new manager and this notion of starting again. Well, it doesn't work like that. If a manager's doing badly, you get in someone that's better. I mean, you use the Chelsea era under Roman Abramovich. They didn't start again when they sacked someone. They sacked someone, brought someone in, used the same players, did better, and then when they didn't do well, sacked them, brought in a new manager, and kept relatively the same squad. We've got this mentality that the second you sack a manager, it becomes a rebuild. Don't get me started on that word, rebuild.
A whole new, if you bring in a manager, apparently it means everything's got to change at the club rather than, Perchy, when you go into a company, right? Me and you in our day jobs, when we move companies, we don't go into the job and the whole company changes. We go in, we slot in, we make better whatever our function is within that company. That's what it should be for managers. And I'll ask you this. I ask this to everyone. For all these people saying, oh, he's not been backed and blah, 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 which is funny because it's always he's not being backed when the results don't go our way, right? For all of that, do you think this squad is better than what we're seeing, i.e. the number of defeats? And you said it there. If we lose tomorrow, 6 defeats in 12 Premier League games, that's worse than Ipswich. And they've just come up. So do you think we're better than what we're showing?
Oh, 100. I think tactically we are all over the place. I think I hear this notion about and look, I'll go back on one thing you did say about the second it goes badly, all of a sudden the players are rubbish. Listen, do you know what the beauty of not being on YouTube was? You could see and hear everything what people are saying. You have got the time to hear what a lot of people say. I'm not naming names because it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But I was told this window was incredible. People are saying Wilson Odebear's come in and what a player. That fits right in what we do. We're bringing in Brennan Johnson's going to get another year under this manager. Dominic Solanke is the next best thing coming in up top. Irrelevant. And individually, the players are irrelevant. I've just picked those specific ones out here and there. But you can't have it both ways. 1 minute, it's the players are great when we sign them. And now, because results aren't going our way, well, the manager's not been back. We've not got good enough players. But you can't have it like... And the problem what happens is all we're seeing is people just deviate from saying that the manager's crap. Let's be fair with it. That's people saying, well, I don't want to say the manager's crap, so I've got to blame everyone else. It's now Daniel Levy's fault. Well, hang on a minute. Daniel Levy wasn't the reason we capitulated at Brighton. Daniel Levy wasn't the reason that we couldn't beat a team that hadn't won a game like Ipswich. Let's be fair and contextualize whether or not if the players have done badly, why are they doing badly? Is this the manager, or that's the case, when everyone was saying that Christian Romero was world class, why are they now saying they don't want him at the club anymore? Which is it?
This is consistency. Some might say, Perchy, which is my favourite word, and this is why context and consistency, mate. Come on, we all know it's context and consistency. Big up Donna Cullen, who's become a member. Gets annoyed when I don't read out the comments. So big up to you for becoming a new member. Keep it football, Donna, and we're all good. And just to confirm, yeah, look, there it is, the context and the consistency. This is my big issue, Perchy. Hang on, I don't know. My internet is all over the place. My Sky stopped working. I'm having a mare. Never mind. This is my big issue. In the summer, I'm told, oh, Savva, you're negative. When I'm sitting there saying this transfer window's not been good enough, we have not bought in depth. We've got 4 competitions. We're going to get injuries. All these people are going, oh, wait for the fruit. Wait for the fruit to bear. Oh, but these youngsters. Oh, but we've got a stronger squad with Gray and Bergvall. Okay, cool. We start picking up injuries and it's, oh my God, he wasn't backed in the summer and Ange hasn't got the players. These fans can't seem to be consistent. And you and I talk about this all the time, Perchy. Me and now that you're back on YouTube, I have accountability for my predictions.
Of course.
I have accountability. So I sit here say, I don't think we're going to beat Man City. I think Man City will win. I don't think it will be 5-0, but I do think they will win. If Spurs, and we'll talk about that later, if Spurs beat Man City, everyone will remember that was my prediction, right? And it will be, you're in the mud, you're terrible, you're not a real fan. But all of these people that have got every prediction wrong for the last decade, and every summer they overhype the players and they're wrong. All these people, there's never any accountability for them. There's no accountability unless you put your face on a camera. Sorry, that's more me venting.
No, but that you make a point there, and you make a good point there. And I think the problem is what happens is it becomes catch-22, and there is money in being positive. Before anyone else on YouTube tells you differently, there is traction in being very, very positive. Trust me, that's how it works. That's how the game works. Just before people start saying, well, people are negative for negative's sake to gain traction. Doesn't work like that. That is a pure and utter myth being spouted. But the thing is you're right, and this is what happens, right? Me and you will say, look, we'll lose to Man City. I think we don't beat Man. I don't see a world where we beat Man City unless we just get a bit lucky on the day. And sometimes you can get a little bit lucky on the day. But for me, the problem is I'll say we'll lose. I think we're going to lose. Actually, I won't give it because you want to probably do that a bit later. But I don't think we'll win. But the thing is that for me, if I'm right, it's are you? The narrative is then, so you're now celebrating us losing. Hang on a minute, that's not how it works. We all have predictions and stuff. It's, see, there you go. You've been proven right, so we were wrong, blah, 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 blah. But then when it's flipped the other way, when we win, let's just say we win 1-0, we nick a 1-0 on a penalty or something else, whatever, it will be, you're in the mud, you should back the manager, blah, blah, blah. But we all make predictions, and in time, we get predictions right and wrong throughout this. Like, the overarching opinion, I think, of Tottenham, I think I'm relatively right on. But here and there, results, you're going to go, I don't think we're beating Man City. Yeah, Man City have on bad form, but we're not in great form either. Let's be fair with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, Perch, I'm sure you're aware there was I know you're aware. There was a video made about me last week. There was a live stream made about me, right? And this is what YouTube can do. And I'm not going to mention names. Everyone knows, and I don't want any abuse towards that person. But what happens is somebody can turn their camera on and start saying all these things that are not true that I've said, and suddenly I'm getting abuse calling me an Arsenal fan. Now, it's funny, right? I find this funny because anyone that truly thinks I'm an Arsenal fan, I think they've lost their mind, right? They're bananas. But it's, Savva wants to lose to City. And this comes around because I actually said, I can't see how we beat them. I think Man City beat us. Savva wants to be beaten by Man. Hang on. No. That's two different things. Savva said last year that he wanted City to beat us so Arsenal didn't win the league. Perchy, never came out my mouth. That never came out my mouth ever. But people are sitting there going, oh, yeah, Savva wants us to lose. You're like, what? Savva's not a real fan because he doesn't just turn his camera on and say, we're going to smash City. Well, that wouldn't be a very interesting YouTube channel, would it, Perchy? If we just came on here and went, what do you think of the manager? Brilliant. The players? Amazing. Are we going to win the league? Yes. Right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later. It's madness, mate, isn't it? It's madness.
Look, we won't mention names on channel, but
I
think everyone in the chat probably knows what we're talking about. And I think this has all come from because I believe you went on Northside stream. It all came from Northside. You went on Northside for about 10 minutes and stuff, and went on Northside stream and blah blah blah, and like just send some honest truths about the football club with people that speak very honestly about their football club as well. Let's be fair with it. Let's put that into big up Northside and Lee Gunner, for example, that those guys will talk very much on their side of their opinion on the club. And that's what it's all about. It's opinions, right? And I think this is the bit that really is, I find really, really childish. I find really pathetic is that opinions are opinions, right? And it's this notion that because I don't rate X means I can't then celebrate if we do well. What is that mentality about?
Yeah. You don't rate Ange. Well, I don't want to see you at Wembley then when we win the League Cup. Well, sorry. Does that mean then if I ask everyone in the chat right now, right? If I asked everyone in the chat right now, Perchy, who wants Timo Werner at this football club? Of the 226 that are in here at the moment, I'm guessing 200 of them, 210 would say don't want him at the club. Perchy, it's February. It's the League Cup final. It's Tottenham versus Arsenal or Liverpool. It's the 95th minute, 0-0. Timo Werner through on goal, slots it in, we win 1-0. Does that mean the whole fan base can't celebrate because Timo Werner scored?
Exactly. But do you know what it is? Do you know what it is though? Timo Werner is a great example, by the way. Timo Werner is a good example because it's not negative to slander Timo Werner because everyone else agrees with that opinion. What's become the term negative is only used when you don't agree with somebody else. That's all it is become now.
Absolutely. Do you know what? Bang on, mate. It is you're negative. So, what you mean is I'm negative because my opinion doesn't match up with yours. Do you know what I mean? Like I went on with Dave yesterday. Big up the Irish Hotspur. I love streaming with Dave. And
top guy.
Some of the comments that came in after, the usual. They didn't actually listen to what I said, Perchy. It was just, we all know Savva's negative. So when I went in, I said, so I'm negative because you don't agree with my opinion. Then someone says, I always find Savva negative, but I agree with him on this. Right. So I'm not negative. What it means is if I think X, Y, and Z are wrong and you think it's right, I'm negative. If I agree with you on ABC, I'm not negative. And this absolutely cracks me up, man. Like, look, the funny thing is, again, the last thing I'll say on this video, it was, I think it was if you talk like a gooner, walk like a gooner, and twerk for a gooner, he's a gooner. The funny thing was, the bit that was not shown, and again, this is the best thing about when people make clips about others, and this is what makes me laugh, right? If they had played that video on, you would see me. Then when I'm asked about Arsenal, me sitting there going, guys, you ain't done enough. I don't think you've kicked on. You're worse than last season. Like, so it's he twerks for Arsenal, but there was no content of me actually saying anything nice about Arsenal. It was just that I was. It
was the clever tactical clipping up. It's very common. You could talk about everything. The second you just clip up 5 seconds of saying something considered negative, and that's unfortunately what the art of people reacting to stuff is. You can pretend and actually propagandize the wordings of what are used. Unfortunately, that's what's happened.
Absolutely. The thing is, last thing I'll say, and then we're going to talk about Tottenham Man City. What I do find hilarious is you dispelled this myth just now, but people don't listen. Right? This notion that one of the things labelled at me was, and it was labelled at Stel, Savva and Stel, their channels do better when we lose. Perchy, I can't control who comes to watch me on watch-alongs. Now, I do a watch-along, come rain or shine, unless something in my life is taking me away from it. I do watch-alongs when we win, lose, or draw. Right? The watch-along's there. I have roughly the same amount of people watching when we're winning or losing. What they're talking about is after the game, when we lose a game, my viewers go up to about 1,200, 1,300. If we've won the game, it stays at about 500, 600. I can't control that.
Yeah.
I want 1,300 viewers when we win, lose, or draw.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, of course. But the problem is what the myth with that is actually what you get is the people that turn up when we lose are actually not normally Tottenham fans. They're other fans that want to poke their like 50 pence in and go, oh, Spurs have lost. Let's see the meltdown in air quotes, right? And I think this is it. But you're right. It's irrelevant, right? I want 1,500 views every stream, and you all should be watching everyone's stream and getting to 1,500, regardless win, lose, or draw.
Mate, absolutely. I just find it hilarious because what people do need to know is having the opinion that I've got doesn't stand me out to the point where, oh my God, I've got 200,000 subscribers. Look at me, right? I'm raking money in. It actually does the opposite.
Of course,
me telling my truth actually turns a lot of people off that just want to hear nice things. Listen, we're going to do some super chats, and then we're going to say hello to a few people, and then we're going to talk about Manchester City v Tottenham, the easiest game of the season, some might say. Yeah, absolutely. Lee Gunner does get plenty of abuse, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, a user has said, I predict the game being called off due to snow. A user, I wonder what odds you'd have with the bookies for Man City Spurs being called off. Try and find it. Have a look. Yeah, why not?
We're still trying to defend from the halfway line.
Absolutely. Listen, it is cold here today, and I'm in London. They're up north. It's so cold that we've had Thames water. Oh, go away with your Spanish son. It's so cold. We've had Thames water here because everyone in my road didn't have water for 3 hours this morning. So it's that cold. The pipes froze. Big up to you, a user. Donna Cullen has become a new member and then gone on to say these 6 super chats. I said, Mr. Savva and Mr. Perchy, the most handsome duo online.
20,000 rupees. How much is that?
I don't know, mate. I don't
Amazing.
know.
It just looks a nice number, though, doesn't it? It's like, oh, look, 20 grand.
Gone on to say, please help me promote the club shop Christmas sale. You don't need any help with that. Spurs fans will be there. Come rain or shine. Don't you worry about that. Mr. Savva, will you be joining us for Showdown 5? I don't know what's Showdown 5?
I do not want to go in any room that's about Showdown 5, unfortunately, with this Donna Cullen account. That would
What is Showdown 5?
I have no idea.
Anyone in the chat, let us know what Showdown 5 is. Maybe I'm old and I don't know. Mr. Savva, are you in favor of me becoming chairman? Chairwoman would be the correct thing. Donna, no, you can get in the bin like the rest of them. Mr. Savva, how is little Bugsy? I miss him. Bugsy?
Are you sure that's not Pugsy? Probably.
Are you talking about my pug? My pug is fast asleep next to me right now. He's absolutely fine. I think we're talking about the pug. Mr. Savva, please help me promote Showdown. I don't know what it is. And Showdown 5 starts in March 2025. What?
Because someone in the chat saying, I want to know what it is now. I feel like I want to research it.
I'm Googling. Right. Showdown 5. Showdown 5. Here we go. The Showdown 5 Saracens. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium offers truly unforgettable match day premium experiences. What is it? I don't get what it is. Saracens? Is it the Saracens rugby?
Oh, is it maybe that?
Anyway, no, I will not be going to watch Showdown 5. Perchy, we got some people in the chat. Hello, big up to Karate. Thank you, very generous the other day. Thank you very much for your super chats, my man, and thanks for your email afterwards as well. Big up. We've got Jose El Del Cocorel in the chat as well. He only twerks for Tottenham. We've got Scott M is in the chat. Yeah, they get the most views by being nasty while spending their shows talking about how nice they are. Madness, isn't it? Look how horrible this person is whilst talking about them for an hour and a half and bringing up abusive comments, calling them a C word, the W word, you know, calling me a whore. But they don't understand. When they do that, what they do is they actually send loads of comments to me afterwards. People calling my wife a whore and things like that.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's madness. Perchy, big up to all of you in the chat, by the way. Smash the like button. We've only got 87 likes. And I'm going to ask the question, who has subscribed to Perchy's channel? Why have you not? Here is the link. The link is in the chat and it is pinned. Perchy, we have got Man City away. Lots of talk about Man City at the moment. Man City have lost 4 games in a row. Man City, they're finished. Hear this every year. Finished. They're crap. They're crap. They finished. And then Pep Guardiola goes and signs not a new 1-year contract. He signs a new 2-year contract with a year possibly tagged on at the end. What do you make of Man City? What do you make of the game? Pep signing a new contract 48 hours before kickoff. What do you make of it all?
Look. I think in the sense of, I think the Guardiola thing, I don't think it really makes much difference. I think people are trying to, it's like people are trying to create it into, now Pep signed a new contract, they're going to be revitalized. I think Carl Walker said it perfectly. We could have asked for a better time to have an international break. We needed a moment to take a step back and go, whoa. And the thing is I was listening to LB, and big up LB, by the way, really top creator, like LB. I was listening to him and I was listening to one of his shows the other day, and he said, well, actually, it's not 4 games, is it? It's 2 games. If we're talking just the league, it's 2 games.
Yeah.
4 games, yeah. I mean, let's be fair. If Pep wanted really to win that Carabao Cup game, he would have just subbed Haaland on with 20 minutes to go and win the game. Let's be fair with it. We can all go, yeah, it's great being Man City, but he subbed on 3 17-year-olds at the end and left Haaland sat on the bench. The other one he lost in Europe against Sporting, who, let's be fair with it, people will go, well, it's only Sporting Lisbon. They've been outstanding this season. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
You could argue it's a shock, but they've been brilliant this season. And then the 2 games in the league, fine. So I think we get really carried away and we hold Man City to this different standard to any other football club. Man City lose a couple of games, they're finished. Hang on a minute. How does that? What's the skin go? I'm just doing that.
It's the Spanish air and sun. How about that?
Yeah, we're doing good. But my point is big up Spurs forever. But the thing is we hold Man City. Every football fan does. We hold Man City to a different standard to anyone else, because if Spurs lose 4 games in a row, and let's be fair, it's going to happen. At some point, it's going to happen this season. We're not going to be sitting there going, oh, we're finished, we're over. Our fans sit there and say, we'll bounce back from that. Man City lose 4 games in a row and they're over. It's a different... And by the way, this happened last year and everyone said that Arsenal were going to win the league. And I said, no, they won't. Man City will win it, like always, because they're the best team in the country. And it's going to be exactly the same this year. And I think that people need to stop doing that, this notion, this nonsense about Man City. As I always say, unless something happens, I don't see how we beat them, because everyone wants us to go toe to toe with them and play this crazy high line and stuff. What are we doing?
Well, the funny thing is, I'll make you right. I mean, Man City lose 2 games back to back in the Premier League. and suddenly they're over. It's gone. And the thing is, I heard this last year. I heard this the year before.
Yeah.
The year before. I don't know when people will wake up to the realization Man City are never at their best before January. I don't like it's almost as though they've mastered the art of it doesn't as long as we're in contact come January.
Yeah.
As long as we're not 15 points behind, you know what? We are the only club, and I think they are. I think they're the only club in the country that can say we're going to win 15 in a row.
Yeah.
We're going to not lose for 15 games. Now, listen, Liverpool are flying. Liverpool are doing really well. Of course, you've got to talk about them being up there. It's still early on in the season. We're going to see how that plays out. Arsenal, I don't expect Arsenal to be this bad moving forward. I think that now Odegaard's back. I think that's huge for them. I think they put up his their win rate with and without Odegaard, and it was something like 40% versus 70% or something. And so look, I do think it's early doors, but everyone writes off Man City every season. The players are getting on. The players this, the players aren't as good. Then when they win it, it's but they've got the best players. Well, hang on. Earlier in the season, you were telling me their players are old and finished. Look, talking about their players coming back, Perchi. Look, we'll talk about our players in a minute, but there are lots of talk. There's lots of talk now that De Bruyne is now fit. De Bruyne was starting to get 15 minutes off the bench before the international break. He's now fit. Stones is back. Apparently Diaz is back. Apparently Grealish is now fit. Doku's fit. They're starting to get their players back to fitness. And the big point for me, and sorry if this has been done to death, they don't lose at the Etihad.
This is 2 years now. They literally don't lose at their place.
I think it's like 2 years to the week since Brentford beat them at the Etihad. Now, I want to mix that in, Perchi, with Van der Ven's out. Romero, we're hearing, is out. I don't know if that's 100% true. It might be one of them ones where he does play, but he's not 100% fit. He's come off injured for Spurs in the last 3 games, come off injured for Argentina last week. He had a baby this week with his partner, so congratulations to him on that. And then there's talks that Radu Dragusin, he came off injured for Romania. He might. I mean, what do we do? What do you make of all these players in and out? And do we deserve this because of the summer we had?
I was going to say I do have this kind of weird moment of going, do you know what? I'm kind of happy it's happened, and maybe it will get people to see the light about how lackluster I found that window. I think it was, I've said it to you in that group chat, but I've said that whoever allowed us not to sign a 4th centre back and then allow Ashley Phillips to go out on loan to Stoke, that person, for me, should be losing their job. Whoever it is, if it's Ange, if it's Lange, I don't care, because to go into 4 competitions with 3 centre backs, for me, I find that very. I think that's a lapse in judgment, and then
polite. That's really polite, Perchi.
That was rather. I mean, I didn't want to swear or demonetize anything, but I thought it's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah,
because the thing is look, if we've gone, do you know what? We're going to allow Phillips to be the 4th. You go, okay. I'm not massively excited by it, but I get it. It's fine. I understand. To then let him go to Stoke, to then leave us with 3 centre backs, and own it. And do you know what's even worse? To allow one of them to be the runner, and then not getting another. I was saying all summer, go and just Sporting Lisbon and try and convince the Dutch lad St. Juice to come along. Very, very fast defender, who can play in that Van der Ven mould of a role. If that's what we wanted, if that was look. And for me, what I find really, really concerning is we've allowed this to happen. And then but then I hear, well, no, but the manager didn't want anyone else. Well, then that concerns me. If the manager's going to say stuff like that, why we can't be having 3 centre backs. We knew this was going to happen, right? I was hearing we were going to go and win the league at the start of the season.
Yeah.
with 3 centre backs. Name me another football club in the Premier League that has 3 centre backs on their books.
No, absolutely. And do you know the worst thing? I want to talk about this comment in a second. The worst thing, Perchy, you hit the nail on the head. We left ourselves with 3 centre backs. It's almost as though, Perchy, we didn't learn from the previous summer when we left ourselves with 2 centre backs and Ben Davies. And then when Van der Ven and Romero got injured and people went, but we've got no centre backs. Yeah, funny. Yeah. That's what transfer windows are for. You can't have 4 competitions with 3 centre halves and then just go, well, don't worry, Ben Davies plays there. And then we all go, but Ben Davies is not very good. Like it's madness. Robert, big up, Robert. I hope you're well. Always in the channel. So big up to you. No, the difference for me is Man City have shown year in, year out that it's early for them. Man City have shown year in, year out that they can have a slow start. They're second in the table, by the way. Right? Man City can have a slow start and then just go, right? Liverpool have got a brilliant squad. They're going to do well.
Man City will go on 10 or 12 games and win all 12 of them. And that will be the difference maker for them winning the league. Because they are comfortable to go and win 12 games on a bounce in the league. And we go, yeah, done.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing for me is, again, Robert, I get what you're saying, but there's no proof. If we ever look at the proof of Tottenham under Ange, the proof last season was that we got worse as the season went on. The proof for these other clubs is that they get better as the season goes on. So for me, when we say it's early doors, I think we're talking about 2 very different things here. Look, it is what it is. But Perchy, we by the way, Haaland for me probably. I mean,
Haaland stays on my captaincy anyway on FPL.
Yeah, you might as well because you know he's going to do good things. David Clark has said Kulu injured his shoulder on international duty. Don't know if he's fit for tomorrow's game. He's another one, and I want to talk about David. I'm going to come back to this in a minute because I want to talk about Kulu and Maddison, but not yet, Perchy. So just start thinking, right? Look, is going to Man City 100% a defeat? No. It's not. We've seen teams go there, stifle them, grab a draw. The difficult thing for me, Perch, is those teams that go there and stifle them seem to have managers that acknowledge you don't outplay City. Let's just be bloody annoying today. Let's be bloody annoying. Let's put 10 men in front of the ball. Let's force them into long shots. Let's crowd out the penalty box. Let's not give room to Erling Haaland. We don't do that, do we? Is that the difference with us going to the Etihad?
It's what we are, mate. We just allow teams that want to attack because we want to keep it entertaining. That's what we're here to entertain, right? So I think look, for me, jokes aside, I think really you're right. I think we have to be very compact against them. And look, if we're going to get anything from the game, it's on the transition. Is the only way. If we are going to get anything out of this game, it's soaking up pressure, and then you basically tell it'll probably be the likes of a Son or a Werner or whoever, get up the field quickly and hit them on the break because they're going to have a young lad at centre half most likely. Because I don't know if Diaz may be back, may not be, but they still might play that. The young lad at centre half that
they've got Stones fit now.
Is he back? I thought he was still out, but if he's fit, yeah.
Apparently Stones and listen, I don't know. Look, a lot of what we hear is rubbish, right? But Stones and Akanji apparently. Plus, you've got Rico Lewis, you've got Vardial. Walker played there for England the other day. Yeah. I just find it very funny, mate, and apparently, people are saying that Ali Gold has confirmed that Romero is out.
Romero's out. Yeah, I read that.
So Romero and Van der Ven out. Yep. So now all of the hope goes on to Davis and Dragoshin. And before people say, oh, well, we're going there without our best centre halves. Sorry, that's what happens when you don't buy.
Yeah.
That is what happens when you don't buy adequate squad depth.
I mean, we're now resting our hopes on the player that our fans have been saying has been crap for the last 2 weeks. By the way, because if Dragusin is out injured, who do you play at centre half? Like everyone was telling me how crap Dragusin was the last 2 weeks, and now it's like we're now literally having to hope that he's fit to play at centre half because it'll be Ben Davies and probably Archie Gray at centre half.
Yeah, just quickly, Mal says, Savvy, not my name. I love you, but it's so annoying when you use hand motions to comment on every single comment. You don't have to be here, mate. You don't have to. That's normal. This is where people are dumb. Sorry, I'm calling you dumb right now. I don't care if you said you love me. When my guest is talking like Perchy, but yet I want to acknowledge a comment that I agree and I say yes, that's me acknowledging rather than ignoring my guests and my comments.
It's a very specific thing to be annoyed about as well. It's very specific.
You can't do anything. I did want to bring up a comment about that. Dean S, when we say we've got 4 centre backs, I mean, Davis is a left back who has played centre half in a free like he does for Wales. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go along with we've got 4 centre backs because Ben Davis plays there. When Ben Davis plays there and has a mare, everyone says he's shit and shouldn't be at our club. Yeah. Now we're saying he's our fault. He's not our fourth choice, is he, Perchy? He?
No,
I might be wrong.
No, he. I actually make the comment right, but in all the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
like he shouldn't be he is our 4th choice, but that doesn't mean it should be our 4th choice. If that makes sense, we should have let Ben Davis go in the summer and brought in someone that you go, do you know what? You're the sort of player that I can see covering at centre half for us or forcing your way into the team. Our worry is, and we've said, look, this is like a broken record, is we have this concept at Tottenham that no other players apart from Romero and Van der Ven can get into the team. We should be getting players that should be trying to dispel them from their position, but we never do.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, lots of all the reports are now saying that Mateo Kovacic is injured for Man City as well. So no Kovacic and no Rodri. So I'm guessing in the midfield, you're going to see Mateus Nunes go back into the middle with Gundogan and De Bruyne. And then what's Savio, Haaland and Bernardo Silva, someone like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Listen, I actually like Mateus Nunes. It's another one. When you go to City, it's very hard as a central midfielder to nail down that place when Rodri is there.
He's moved, but he's played out wide a lot now. They play him out wide, but that's the thing at Man City is you actually have to learn to play a lot of positions because you're right. You don't get a lot of opportunities in game they play. They've got a big squad and they try and get you in as much as possible. So you have to start learning other positions. If not, you don't get a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I want to move on to talk about the likes of Kulu and Maddison, and a good comment here from David Clark, who said, "I've watched Maddison closely for 6 years. He's never been a player who gets a game by the scruff of the neck. At Leicester, he had Ndidi and 2 other box-to-box midfielders allowing him to play left." I mean, when I watched him play for Leicester City, a lot of the time he was playing in that hole with Tielemans and Ndidi behind him. But for me, David, this is what he is. I think our fans have got the wrong idea of what he is. James Maddison, for me, is a player, Perchy, who for the last 4 or 5 years has got brilliant stats in terms of the number of goals, the number of assists every year. Patchy, yes, but the stats don't lie. He's had really good stats for the last 4 or 5 years, okay? Spurs seem to be the only club that go and buy a number 10, Perchy, don't play him as a number 10. Then we criticize him for his tracking back and how much hard work he does in the midfield, even though I actually see him doing a lot of hard work. And I just watched a clip yesterday from Glenn Hoddle was on TalkSport. And they asked him about James Maddison. And Glenn Hoddle said what many of us have been saying for ages. He said, James Maddison's a number 10. Yeah? James Maddison doesn't want Udogie, Porro, Solanke. He doesn't want all of those players in his area. He said, what he said, I watched the games and James Maddison looks up and he's got players. They're there. They're 5 yards away from him. He said, Hoddle said, get out. Porro, get out wide right. Adogi, get out wide left. Solanke, get up front and give James Maddison an option to make that pass. Do you agree with that? I'm not saying Maddison's the greatest player I've ever seen, but I do feel that we're definitely not getting the best out of him.
Yeah, look, I'll go back to sort of the David Clark comment, and I agree with a lot of it. There's a little bit I disagree with about the scruff of the neck comment, because I think the one thing what I'm seeing from Maddison is he's doing very much similar to what we used to say about Harry Kane for a lot. He's trying too much, working because he's going as deep as he can to try and start something. For me, I do agree with most of actually what he said on there, but to go on to what Glenn Hoddle said, I think you're right. I think for me, it's the Maddison situation. For me, I don't care what anyone says. There was a clear issue between him and the manager. The fact he didn't even get on the pitch he got on the pitch for 8 minutes against Ipswich when we're losing, told me there was a massive problem there, because he's bringing on like Bergvall and stuff before. I'm like, get Maddison on the pitch. He should have been on the pitch at halftime going, go on, James, get in there now and let's change this up. There is a clear issue there. I don't care what anyone says. That's not that. If he's not doing it for a reason, that's even worse. But like for me, is I look at it and go, you're right. I think Maddison for me he's not played correctly. And for me, I've always said I think Maddison's the one player. He's not necessarily, I wouldn't say the best player in the team, but he's the one I should be building my team around. Put him in the 10 and go, I'll build around you. You're going to be my creative guy. I'll get the players that will suit what you need. And I think Maddison's a great player. I think the problem is we're in a problem where we might end up losing him, because he might just go, do you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I'd rather go somewhere else. And then the problem is then you're sitting there going, well, Kulusevski, I think Kulu's probably been arguably our best player this season to an extent. But we also see a lot of Kulusevski, which we see a lot of inconsistency from him. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Maddison hasn't been poor. I think he's had really poor games, but the question is why is he being poor? Over, is it he clearly has talent? Whatever we thought about him at Leicester, his stats tell you a different story from a relegated side, right?
Have a look at this. This is the immediate 2 seasons before he joined Spurs, right? 65 Premier League games in the 2 years before he joined Spurs. In that time, quick maths, Savva, in 65 games, he had exactly 40 goal contributions.
Yeah.
40 and 65 goal contributions from an attacking midfielder. We bring him to Spurs. We must be the only club in the world that can't find the 10 position for a number 10. Now, listen, first of all, I think him and Kulu are very different players. Before everyone says who's better and blah, blah, blah. Kulu, for me, is a lot more direct. He's a bit more of a workhorse. I don't think he's got I don't think he's as skillful as Maddison. But the one thing is, when we look at this, right, even this season, James Maddison's play. I don't know if anyone in the chat could find this out for me. I don't know if you can, Perch, how quick it is, whatever. I'd love to know how many Premier League minutes Maddison has had compared to Kulusevski. Because even in the minutes, and I know that Maddison has not had anywhere near the minutes of Kulu, right? He's still got more goal contributions, Perchy. He's still got more goal contributions than Kulu. And again, I'm not making this one v the other. For me, I think a top manager finds a way that you have both these players in your team.
I agree. My personal favourite tactic that I'd be playing with these, you go 3 at the back, four in the midfield, and then 3 up top. You play.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
And then you go Maddison on the left, Kulu on the right, but tell them to tuck in, allow your wing backs or wide men in Porro and play out wide. That way you play 5 attacking with Solanke in the middle. You've got 2 creative ones you can play. Maddison can play that little deeper role. Kulu can play that one that sort of drifts into the box. That way you've got 4 in the box. Boom. And That's how I would
So
see it.
kind of like now imagine, just forget Son for a second.
Yeah.
Now imagine that Son is Kulu, right?
Yeah.
You've then got Maddison and Kulu can play in that pocket behind the striker wherever they want, switching from right to left in the number 10 space. You've got the width from Porro and Udogie. You've got 3 centre halves. It's not rocket science, but the thing
that's
for
how
me
I would
is,
play it.
I think it says a lot that this manager is not getting the best out of Son.
No,
He's not getting the best out of Romero. He's not getting the best out of Porro and Udogie because they're being played out of position.
He's not getting the best
He's
out
not
of
getting the
Solanke.
best out of Maddison. He's not getting the best out of Solanke. Brennan Johnson's not a right winger.
Yep.
We know that. We know he's not a right winger. Listen, I don't rate him, but he can finish. So you want to get him centrally. So when we're all saying, oh, it's nothing to do with the manager, why are there so many players that we're not getting the best out of? Because Maddison seems to be the fall guy, Perchy.
Yeah.
Maddison seems to be the guy that we all go, oh, Maddison's not playing well. Well, okay, hang on. What about the others?
Yeah. So did you want Maddison minutes and Kulu minutes, by the way? I have got that for you.
In the Premier League would be amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so the Premier League, Maddison has got 691. And Kulu, if you wait 30 seconds whilst this clicks, Kulu's had 860.
Okay, so he's had what? Nearly 200. Is that was that 200 minutes more?
About 220 minutes or so. So that's what?
Okay.
That's 2 and a bit more games in
2 and a bit more
total.
games, and still got less goal contribution than Maddison. So you might argue that James Maddison's actually, pound for pound, for the minutes he's playing on the pitch, is doing his job. For me, I think this manager has really, really got to find a way to get the best out of James Maddison. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, I love you, dude. You know I do. I don't think Maddison's an Aldi signing. When we're saying another bargain deal, the manager's not playing him right. It's the equivalent of buying. It's the equivalent of buying N'Golo Kante. Right, hear me out. I'm not saying the same caliber.
Yeah.
Let me pick someone less worth before people get that wrong. It's the equivalent of buying a defensive midfielder like I don't know who's a defensive midfielder for. It's like buying Caicedo at Chelsea, playing him in the number 10, and then going, oh, but he's not creating. Well, no, of course he's not. He's not that player, and we're doing that with Maddison.
Yeah.
When you watch Maddison. Right. Let me just block this person. When you look at Maddison, he's constantly in centre mid, tracking back. I don't want him there, Perchy. I want him with space in the number 10 role on the half turn to be able to feed the wingers and strikers. But we just don't do it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think this is it. I think big up Chris, by the way. Big up to you, mate. I know you're a top bloke, but I do disagree with when we say that, oh, just because he's from a relegated club. For me, Maddison could have been the likes of when Liverpool bought an Andy Robertson from a relegated Hull. For example, I know they're totally different positions, but buying you should be looking at players from their best player. In fairness, we bought Leicester's best player. That's what we should be doing. I've got no issues with that signing. For me, what the concern is, you've got to play a Maddison correctly. Otherwise, you're right. It's like playing. You might as well play him as a number 6 and a defensive midfielder, because what are we doing here?
But this is the thing. When you've got arguably the greatest ever playmaker that's played for Tottenham. Hang on, let me change that. I don't even know why I put the word arguably in. Glenn Hoddle, the greatest playmaker, skillful player that's ever played for Tottenham Hotspur, is saying, if I was in that team, I'm telling these players, get out of my way. I'm the skillful one. I'm the creative one. I feed the forwards. But you've got Porro in there, a doggy in there. And this is where I think, again, sorry, Jimmy, I think this is the thing. When we're saying being invisible, based off what? If he's invisible, why has he got the most assists and goals in the team combined? If he's invisible. Like why is... I tell you what, let's have a look. So James Maddison, in less minutes than all these players, he's got 6 goal contributions, right?
Yep.
Let's have a look at Tottenham. I want to make sure I get this right in the league. Let's see. I reckon there'll probably be one player with more than him. Let's have a look. So Timo Werner, right? 1 assist in the league. Sonny has got exactly the same output as James Maddison. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists, right? 3 goals, 3 assists. Dominic Solanke has got less output than James Maddison. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist, right? Richarlison, granted, he's only played 5 times, 1 assist. Odegaard, only played 3 games, nothing. Mikey Moore, again, only played 4 Premier League games, no goals or assists. Kulusevski has played probably more minutes than any other player at Spurs. He's never taken off. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists. So, and so the last one, Brennan Johnson has got 4 goals and no assists. So when we're saying, comments like this, he's invisible. Well, surely his job is to create and score goals. He's done that in less minutes than some of these other players. Why is he invisible, but yet we're crowning Kulu as one of the best midfielders in the league and our best player for the season? Why is not everyone held to the same standard?
Look, it's a good point. I think this is the thing. I think we've got. I think there's. I'm not going to call it propaganda, but there is. It's like a narrative. The narrative is the right word. There's like a narrative, and I think you hit on it earlier. Is that the scapegoat now is James Maddison because the manager's now not playing him. So psychologically, you go, well, he's obviously been the problem, but we're not playing any better with or without him. So it can't be solely his responsibility there. But let's be fair.
Did he play against Ipswich?
He did. We played 8 minutes, and we were
right. How bad were we against Ipswich? Where was the creativity against Ipswich?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree.
But Maddison's the problem, right? Listen. I think Maddison is exactly the same as all the others. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, I think painfully inconsistent. Most of them are painfully played out of position. But for some reason, he has been the scapegoat.
Yeah.
He has been the scapegoat because it's easy to say, no, Jimmy, no, sorry, this isn't true. He's not being played as a number 10.
He plays like an 8.
He plays like an 8. This is when you're saying he should have the best attacking stats. Well, surely Solanke should have the best attacking stats. Surely if Kulu's better in the number 10 role than Maddison, he should have. Maddison's played less minutes than Solanke. I think I'm right in saying he's played less minutes than Son, Solanke, Kulu, Johnson. He's played less minutes than these guys.
I think Son is comparable, if I'm right in saying. I've got them up in front of me. I think they're about 20 minutes in between, so they're very similar stats.
But this is what makes me laugh. That we're seeing. I'm sorry, we can't see this bloke who's got 40 goal contributions in 65 games. He then comes to Spurs and we're all going, he can't, he's not good enough. He goes invisible. Hang on. If any player in our team this year gets 20 goal contributions, Perchie, we'll be talking about them for Player of the Year, Premier League Team of the Year. But he did this at Leicester. Why? Because the formation suited him. He comes to Spurs. We buy him. The manager buys him. This manager didn't inherit him. He's gone out and bought him and can't play him in the same position. When we're going, he's not physical enough. Sorry, who's number 10? Name me number 10s in the world that were physical, battling players that came back and defend. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
But when did and this is going to be the rant here, but in a sense, when did it always? I've noticed now that Premier League fans, I say that because it happens. It's not just Spurs fans care so much about physicality over technical ability.
Amen.
Constantly, it's are they physical enough? Hang on, can they pass a ball? It's why players like and I don't mean to be a slag. It's why players like Timo Werner are at Tottenham. He should be nowhere near Tottenham, but he's only there because he's run. It's how players like Adama Traore get minute after minute and minute in the Premier League because they don't care that he can't actually cross a ball, but they care that he can run up and down a pitch quickly. For me, Madison is technically our best football player in our team. He should be given the license to create everything. Create everything.
Agree. If you haven't, do you know what? Do you remember for years, right, Perchy? For years, we all said, "Oh my God, since we sold Ericsson, we haven't bought a playmaker."
Yeah,
that was the excuse. Oh, Kane has to drop deep because there's no Ericsson. We buy the playmaker, and then we go, okay, could you track back? And fans saying things like, "Oh, he's easy to target." Why should anybody be targeting a number 10 in our team?
Yeah.
He should have, when he was at his best, he had Ndidi and Tielemans behind him. Ndidi, we all know, was a brilliant number 6, right? We knew what Ndidi was about. And Tielemans, for me, still a very good box-to-box 8, if you will. Spurs, no, don't worry about that, James. Don't worry about the number 10. Drop in to the midfield. Come and collect the ball off the back 4. Oh, and by the way, when you do get the ball in the number 10 position, Porro's going to be in there with you. Adogi, Solanke's going to drop in there. It's madness.
Do you know what it is? Madison is getting punished for one reason, because we didn't buy a proper midfielder that can do the donkey work for him. That's the reason. Let's be fair with it. The reason why Madison is getting slated is because actually we didn't go out there and buy a number 6. I don't like using the numbers, but a number 6 that can break up. Oh, we haven't bought our Victor Wanyama is the best example.
Agreed.
And that is the difference, because if you had a player like that behind a Madison, you go, James, you do your job, I'll do mine. You don't need to come back here, and I don't need to go up there. And it was, in a way, it's simple. It's funny. Everyone harps on about that Pochettino team. And yeah, it didn't go over the line, but it was a very, very good team, right? It's a very, very good team. And that midfield, you knew who goes where. You knew Ericsson was your 10, Wanyama was your 6, and Dembele was your 8. I don't like using the numbers, but everyone likes using the numbers. But you knew that was how it was going to be. Yeah, you would swap in one-on-one here and there. Now, we don't have a proper defensive midfielder. Some say the likes of Bentancur can be. He can be, but he's not. I don't think he has that, I'm going to go in and absolutely aggressive tackler, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Look, mate, I agree. And by the way, this comment, listen, big up Swing Squad. I hope you're well. She says, I'm not an Ange fan. I want him gone, but you've just spent 20 minutes highlighting the obvious. These players aren't bought with any system in mind, and arguably not who the manager wants anyway. But where I disagree with this is James Maddison is bought with a system in mind. Which players suit Ange's formation? Because let's break this down. We're told he doesn't play with a 6. He doesn't play with a 10. He doesn't want wingers that actually beat a man. What system are we actually playing then? He doesn't want fullbacks that are fullbacks. So we can't do this with every single signing. We can't turn around and go, oh, but they don't suit Ange's system. Who does, Perchy? Which footballers? Because when we buy them, we see all these videos. Oh, this player suits Ange perfectly. As soon as they play, but they don't suit Ange. It's like, well, the excuses are mad.
Look, if you broke it down, you go, the keeper don't suit this system at all. The fullbacks don't suit this system because they're not fullbacks. I think the only one player that suits this system to a T is Mickey van der Ven. And I don't think I can think of anyone else. Sarr doesn't benefit. We don't see any of his benefits in midfield because he wants to transition with the ball. Instead, he's asked to make 2-yard passes left and right. He's energy. He's all action. Whether or not we agree or disagree on the quality of Papa Matar, he's the sort of player that you want to get on that ball and move from back, get that ball and travel. And I have to do the caveat before anyone. He can be and play like that Dembele role where I'm not saying anywhere near the quality, but he can get that ball and start games going. But we don't play that way. People want him to do that. We play this possession-based football that actually leads to nothing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, Andy, but the difficulty is when you're saying Palace showed a few tackles, Madders and Kulu hard, the Palace midfielders shouldn't be in a battle with the likes of Kulu and Maddison. Kulu Kulu and Maddison should be a number 10. He played both of them. If I'm a midfielder looking at a midfield that's got Kulu and Maddison in it, with not two other midfielders in there, I'm going, yeah, I fancy this.
Yeah.
We're asking these players to do what is not their game. Again, a midfield you should have two players in your midfield who want that fight, who want that battle. And we simply do not have it. Ed Emma said that's not why he's been slated. He loses the ball far too much and doesn't try and get it back. Ed, every single one of our players loses the ball far too much. If we went away and did the stats on, who was it the other week? Someone showed one of our players was it Solanke in one of the games, gave the ball away something like 60% of the time he had it. No one blames him. Son, every time Son has that ball on the left-hand side, he loses it. Brennan Johnson can't beat a man, loses the ball. But again, everyone's having a go at Maddison. Maddison is a number 10. That's your creative force. This shouldn't be the guy that we're looking at and saying, why doesn't he track back and kick people? And it's madness. He's just a bit of a flake. Look how we talk about footballers. This country, we talk about footballers like this.
Yeah.
He'd be appreciated in Spain.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you went to Spain, you'd be looking going, this is a top player. Because technically on the ball, he's very, very good. I wanted to find the stats on his ball retention stats, by the way, because I felt like that is just a throwaway comment, but I don't think it's actually true.
Mate, we get a lot of them. People say a lot of things that aren't true. Like, so Dave Clark in the chat, we don't always agree, me and David Clark, but he made a point somewhere further up where he said, if we're all saying that Kulu's doing the number 10 position better than Maddison has been our best player, why has he only got 2 goals and 2 assists?
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, I think Kulu's playing well, but from a number 10, you've got to be scoring and creating. And he's not actually doing a lot of that. But we're not allowed to say that because it goes against the grain.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I agree, Ian. All of this Angie's system, I don't see a system. I really don't see a system. Dan Harris said we had a destroying Højbjerg who isn't a great player, but Ange wouldn't play him either. You can't win. Daniel, I don't know what this manager wants.
Yeah.
We're told he doesn't want a 6. We're told that a number 10 doesn't work in this formation, right? We're told he doesn't want fullbacks that can defend. He wants them to invert. What does this manager want? What is it that we're seeing?
Don't.
Jimmy, no, sorry, Pudge. 1 second.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not letting him off the hook. What I'm saying is, why is he the scapegoat? Listen, Jimmy, you've got to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying Maddison's playing brilliantly, but Maddison keeps taking the blame. When I see Bentancur have awful games, hardly anyone says anything. When I see Sarr have also awful games, when Kulu, anonymous versus Ipswich, anonymous versus Palace, no one's saying anything. But Maddison, because he's visibly fallen out with the manager, Maddison's the scapegoat.
So I just want to give you some statistics because it's good to look at stats when people make comments about dispossession. Someone put in the comments and he gets dispossessed all the time. Do you know how many times he's been dispossessed this season?
Go on.
10 times. One a game.
Right.
So
one a game for a player that's trying to thread through balls and create.
So his dribble success rate's 52%. He's had 1 offside, but yeah, he's been dispossessed 10 times this season in an attacking role. Like for me, I just think when people just make stuff, he loses the ball all the time. He's lost the ball 10 times this season in all competition. I think it's all, or maybe just the Premier League, I think. But anyway, relevant, yeah. No, it's all comps. Yeah.
I make it funny when people all of a sudden though, like with Maddison, he doesn't suit the Premier League. I mean, 40 goal contributions in 65 games before he joined Spurs kind of tells you that he does suit the Premier League. Do you know, I was looking at the top assist makers in the Premier League across the last 6 seasons. Do you know there's like only four people higher than James Maddison?
Wow.
Again, this is what I mean, Perchy. All these throwaway comments for half a season he's good, half a season he's not. What does that say about the other playmakers then? What does that say about these other players that don't have these stats? I'm really confused.
But I just think it's. I think the thing is, the problem is we're going back to the same conversation, isn't it? We're not set up to benefit from our players, and as I said, Maddison's one of the key ones, and that's the one we're pointing at the moment. But we could have this conversation could be about, I would say, 10 of the 11 players we play regularly.
Mate, listen, let's switch it up. Brennan Johnson, right? Brennan Johnson's strength is getting into that box, being in the right place at the right time, and scoring a goal, right? What's Brennan Johnson's weaknesses? He can't dribble. He can't beat a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not strong, right? And I don't think he's got the best football IQ. So what do? We stick him out wide on the right. What do? We play loads of the football out to him on the right. And then we wonder, why can't he beat a man?
Yeah.
Again, we're asking players to do what they don't do. I don't understand it. Sorry.
But we could have this, as I said, we could have this conversation with nearly every player in the team. You look at the likes of the goalkeeper. We basically play in a way that he's so uncomfortable at, but we don't go, do you know what? We want to protect our goalkeeper. Let's change it up here because this isn't working. We just go, just carry on. It's like, do you know what it is? It's head in the sand sort of feeling. It's like, oh, well, I want to play this way. Whether or not it's going right or wrong, I'm sticking my head in the sand and whatever happens, happens. That's not how we're a professional football club here. This isn't for overside where you've got people just turn up going, I'll just do whatever you want. Whatever happens, we're just here for a laugh. We're a football club that make millions/billions. It's just mad. It is, as I said, and the problem is all I hear is people just go, oh, well, we enjoy what we're seeing. What's enjoyable? This notion, it's just a good time. It's a good feeling. What are basically losing games? And the thing is always the results where you go, well, I expect us to beat an Everton. I expect us to beat this team. I expect us to beat a Man United in complete and utter disarray. It's like, I expect us to be beating those teams because we're not a bad football team. The problem what we are is we're not a consistent football team. And consistency comes from adaptation. I can't remember the manager. I can't remember the manager it was. The manager, I can't remember who it was, but he basically said, we had documents on every team. Do you know what? I think it was Thomas Frank, and don't quote me if it's wrong, because it might be wrong, but I remember him being interviewed on Monday Night Football. He went on Monday Night Football with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. And they said, so how do you prepare for a team? We said, we have a dossier on every single team, their strengths, their weaknesses, and I build my team based on their weaknesses and their strengths. We don't do that. Like, and I'm not sitting here suggesting that Thomas Frank's the next best manager in the world or whatever, but we don't look at a team and go, do you know what? We're changing it for this because we don't want this player and this player causing us problems. Brighton was the perfect example. Yeah, we went 2-0 up, good half. Now, what you should be looking at that half and going, do you know what? Shut up shop, we're done here. Let's just make it easy. First 15 minutes, do not give them a goal, because if they get a goal, the momentum's on there. We're at their ground. Don't do it. What do? We just play the same way and allow it to happen. And then constantly, first goal, you got, okay, now change it. Nothing. Second goal, okay, now we're losing. Let's sort this out. The third goal goes in. The whole crowd goes wild. And even at that point, you go, why are we now making the changes now? We should have done that 2 minutes ago.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But again, you're not allowed to say these things about him because everyone gets annoyed and we get called, we get called negative, blah, 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 blah. Now, listen, I've got a brilliant one to show you. First of all, before I do show you this brilliant thing, Perchy, and thank you very much to my man, Morton Barley, for sending this through. Let's see if I can get this. I guarantee my email will take ages to send this through now. Before we do, get it together. You've not been listening to what I'm saying. I'm not saying stats do tell the whole story. Yes, they have all been average. That's my point. My point is when we sit there and go, Maddison, it's all Maddison's fault. Basuma, maybe it's all of the players, all of these players that fans like to overhype. The overhyping of Bentancur in this fan base is now he's banned for 7 games. He's being sort of put on this pedestal like he's the greatest. We're basically talking about him now like he's Rodri.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Oh my God, with Bentancur out, how many games you watch when Bentancur don't do anything?
But
it's madness. It's madness. Sorry, I knew this was going to happen. Hang on, let me see if I can.
Whilst you're doing that, Bentancur is a great example of, I would say, our best midfielder that we've got. But because he's our best midfielder, we now have to put him in stratospheric sort of like comparisons. Yeah, he's our best midfielder, but he doesn't get in any of the teams above us within reason. I'm talking about the sort of, he doesn't get into Man City's team. He doesn't get into Arsenal's team. I don't think he gets into Liverpool's team. I think we should be wanting players like Bentancur. We want players that you go, Man City would love a Bentancur. Like, do you know what I mean? But we don't have players. We have players that we think are good, but they don't think that other teams are good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look, I mean, Percher, we are going to end this show in the next 3 minutes, and I'm going to be sending everybody over to the Calfee Company for Ben and his show for a nice chilled bit of fun, even though Ben has never invited me on. I'm just putting it out there, Percher.
Hey.
Never invites me on. I'm not fun enough to go on his show.
I've heard you don't like coffee. That's why. I don't either.
Yeah,
but...
that is very true. I do not like coffee. Let's have a look at this. Just quickly, I'm going to show you something in a minute, and then we're going to do some super chats. Actually, let's show you this first. So just remember, right? Perchy, remind me, who gives the ball? Who is dispossessed a lot?
Oh, well, we were told it was Maddison.
Right. And who's been our best player all season and is better on the ball?
Kulusevski.
Would you like to see? Would you like to see something?
A stat's about to disprove another thing. We're myth busting another. I love it. Oh wow.
So he's the second most dispossessed player in the Premier League.
Wow. Okay.
Right. But James Maddison loses the ball too easily and is too weak. Listen, I'm not knocking Kulu, but I think people need to think before they just come out with these off the cuff remarks.
Should we?
For me,
that's quite. I do love a statistical fact of completely destroy an argument. That is, it's mad, isn't it?
Facts.
Yeah, no. Facts.
I would expect, right? By the way, I expect if you look at a lot of the players on that list, they are the creative. Let's have a look at it one more time. I expect players like this, by the way, to lose the ball. I expect Paqueta because he's trying difficult passes. I expect Morgan Rogers because he's dribbling with it a lot, trying to take men on. I expect Kudus, Bowen, Saka, Salah. I expect it. You expect it of James Maddison. These players that don't play the safe 5-yard pass will be dispossessed. These players that want to try things and take men on will be dispossessed, right? So I think people need to, need to look in there and go, okay, stop, let's not just jump to conclusions. For me, I reckon if a proper manager comes in here that plays a proper formation, you get the best out of Maddison, you get the best out of Porro, Adogi, Romero, Van de Ven, Bentancur, Basuma, Solanke. I think you get the best out of all of them. But there you go. But Maddison's averaging 1 a game.
We can really not absolutely dispel this if you want to. If you want to completely cremate any. Well, if I do that, and then if I do this, can you see that? I think it's come through on your end.
Yep.
So here we go. This is for your. Oh, has I updated? He's not made 200 appearances this season. How's that not updated? Oh, there we go. There you go. This is the statistics this season of both players, by the way. So we wanted. There was a dispossession stat I just saw.
Can you blow it up a little bit? It's very small.
Is that big? Do you just need glasses?
No, that's better. That's now much better.
But
yeah.
now I can't see the bottom bit. But okay, let's see. No, because you can't see it that way. Hang on, if I go down one,
maybe it's on this one, huh?
Yeah, it can. I'll have a look. But yeah, no, there was the stats on what Kulu done and what Maddison done. So it's like there was the creative stats here. So here's the example: goals per match from Maddison is a much higher than Kulu's. There was the creative stats. So if you look at all these stats, every stat is higher under Maddison. Maddison takes more shots. He has more shots on target. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so when all we hear is about how bad Maddison's been this season, in every metric he's higher. Kulu's created one more big chance. He's created less passes. His pass completion's a lot lower than Maddison's. His passes forward are much lower than Maddison's. He's had less touches on the ball. He's had less through balls, less crosses, dispossessed 10 times Maddison, 28 Kulusevski.
Agreed.
So when we talk about, there's no point looking at, I mean, arguably, his defensive stats will probably be higher as well because he's played so deep anyway. I mean, he's conceded. I mean, these are irrelevant in a sense of it, but
even when you look at it, their blocks and interceptions are basically the same.
Yeah,
right. Their tackles. If you go back to that, their tackles.
Yeah,
right. Maddison's made more tackles in less games. He's had the same successful tackles in less games. This notion that he doesn't work hard, that he doesn't track back, that he's losing the ball more. It's not true.
They've played the same amount of games. However, Maddison's played less minutes than Kulusevski. Maddison's been subbed off 9 times. Kulu's been subbed off twice. I mean, that's relative, isn't it? Let's be fair. Subbed on twice. Kulu's been subbed on once. So I think that for me is the key bit. In every metric, 99% of the metrics here, Kulu's committed more fouls than Maddison. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when we just, it's like, I'll stop sharing it now. There's no point. But
can I just take Perchy? By the way, for people in the chat, I'm not using this to discredit Kulu. I'm making the point that Maddison's the scapegoat. Look at his stats and Kulu's though. Kulu, we're being told, has been our best player this season, hands down. But you look at the metrics there. Maddison's attacking metrics are better. His defensive metrics were better. What do you know what I mean? So again, what are we actually going off? And again, for me, I think a top manager finds a way to get them both in the team.
I think someone's just put in the comments just saying, why are we comparing them? The reason is all we hear is Maddison's the problem, we're not doing great, and Kulu is the reason we're better than we are. That's the problem. The comparison is always about Maddison's rubbish, Kulu's great. By the way, I don't think both of them have been great this season. I agree. But we have to be balanced, and when everyone goes, oh well, now you're just using stats to. These are factual informations. These are things that have happened. This isn't make-believe. Yeah, you can see it on the eye, but statistically, Maddison has been a lot better than Kulusevski statistically.
Well, again, this makes me laugh. Ed here, you destroyed nothing. I've seen Maddison with my own eyes lose the ball cheaply and not bothered his hold to get it back. But those stats show, Ed, that your eyes haven't told you the truth then.
Because Kulu's been dispossessed nearly 3 times more than Maddison this season.
Yeah, so this doesn't actually make sense. Listen, I don't want to go on forever because I'm going to transfer over to Ben's show. But again, if we're going to make throwaway comments, it can't just be, well, I've seen with my own eyes. But your own eyes aren't actually marrying up with the facts. Yeah. So if you would turn around and said, well, Kulu gives the ball away loads as well, sure. But Kulu gives the ball away 3 times as much as James Maddison. Again, I agree. Leftovers, I agree. And this is why I don't think James Maddison's the greatest player ever. This is why all this conversation about how Kulu's one of the best midfielders in the league, I don't know what that's based on either. I just don't know. For me, look, the whole point is it's not Kulu v Maddison. He's not getting the best out of Maddison.
Yeah, it's not Kulu versus Maddison, but it's to dispel the point. It's to dispel the point, right? This notion that is Maddison is terrible kind of notion. He's the problem. That's the dispelling. It's dispelling that myth that all that we're hearing.
Yeah. Terry said, can I just mention that Kulu's got three assists in the League Cup? Sure, but I mean, if we want to start looking at other competitions against, weren't some of those against Coventry, for example? Like, look, we're talking about the league. We're talking about the league. We can go into all the other competitions we want, but in the league, we're being told that James Maddison has been poor and visibly poor, but the facts aren't backing that up. Listen, just quickly, Donna Cullen said, Mr. Perchie, Mr. LB is my new boyfriend. I'm sure LB will be very
he's flattered
to know about that. Big up to you, Donna. Ryan Trustain has come in and said, Savva, if we had Man City slow start, I'd be very happy. Would you and Perchie? Well, yeah, Man City slow start just means that they're not top, right? Our slow start or normal, whatever you want to say, means that we've lost 5 games already. And as Perchie said, it could be 6, Ryan, tomorrow. So I think we need to at least grab a draw just to save face. Big up to you, Ryan. Always very generous. Ethan is always super generous and has said, Maddison is scapegoated because we have 2 wingers who don't create for a striker who drops deep but doesn't create, and 2 fullbacks played in midfield who don't create, but we blame our top assister. Ethan, I completely agree. For me, buy a couple of wingers that want to stay wide and beat a man. Yeah, buy fullbacks that play fullback and say to James Maddison, you are our creative force. You go in there and do that job, but we just don't do it. But Ethan, big up. I really, really appreciate everything you do for the channel. Thank you so much, mate. And then the last comment was Ben, who said Johnson would massively benefit playing up top with Solanke and scoring goals and let Porro get down the wing and crossing. Johnson is a good finish. I agree. That's the only thing I think Johnson is good at is finishing.
I agree.
So why play him on the wing? But I completely agree. Guys and girls, Terry said, yeah, but Maddison also played against all those teams. Yeah, look, I get it. But what I'm saying, listen, we can go to whatever competitions we want. We were looking at the Premier League, minutes based against each other. And, Foxy has said every club is a scapegoat, Savva. Absolutely. And ours is very much Maddison because their Lord and Saviour Ange has fallen out with him. Here we go. John said, I listened to a show this morning, Savva. We have 10 points less than last season, but our stats are up. They said it shows we are strong. I can't deal with it. Yeah, absolutely, John. I can't deal with it. We've lost more games.
Now the best one is the best one out of all of them, by the way, is this season we only lost by 1 goal. What does that mean? What a stat that is. Oh, well, because we're better because we have only conceded 1 less goal than we did last season. Wow. We still lost the game.
Yeah, completely agree. Guys, girls, listen, I'm going to leave it there. Listen, Perchie, thank you so much for coming on. Please get over and sub to Perchie's channel. I'm putting the link in the chat again. Please get over and subscribe to him. Have you had any?
We've had a few. We're about 25 from 2,400. So if you could get over, that'd be absolutely lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So please get over. If we could get another 20 odd people to go over to Perchie and get his channel flying, that'd be great. Listen, people are asking if we'll make this a weekly thing. It's up to Perchie if he wants to.
We'll talk behind the scenes, definitely. We'll sort something out.
I'll be back tonight 8 p.m. Bit of a panel show, and in the meantime, I'm going to send you over to Ben if you like a bit of a laugh, bit of a chill. Get over there, tune in, help him out. He's a great guy. Everybody, much love. Subscribe to Perchie. I've not had 1 subscriber this show to myself, so 1 subscriber would be nice for me. Take care, and as always, come on, you Spurs.